Good morning. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce our team. This is Louise Xu, Minyoung Yu, Carol Hu, Rachel Urbanzik, and Davis Lunsford. And my name is Christy Szymanski.
Excellent.
We've been working as consultants for the Marco Company this summer. Initially, we started out with the goal of helping Marco introduce the gravity-fed bulk bin to its product line. But what we found was much more than a product. We found an opportunity for Marco to use its key strengths and core competencies to create the next generation of gravity-fed bulk bin with only minimal capital investment. Davis is going to tell you more.
Thanks, Christy. Christy's right. I like to say that our team started out digging a well and we ended up hitting a gold mine. And here's why. We began by researching how Marco could enter the market for bulk food dispensers. And what we found is that the demand for that product is growing at 15% per year. And some of the most successful stores in the U.S. sell using bulk food dispensing systems, but they're frustrated because the current options have some downsides. Now, this is a great product for Marco. Marco is one of the leading providers of food storage and display equipment like shelving or refrigeration cases for grocery stores. So this product is a great fit. Let me tell you a little bit about bulk food dispensers in general. They're used to dispense dry goods like coffee or candy or wheat. And one of the most effective systems is the gravity-fed bulk dispenser. And you can see those in the top of the big picture there. The gravity-fed bulk dispenser dispenses the product through a chute into a bag. And now consumers love buying in bulk because bulk foods are usually 30 to 60% cheaper than a similar packaged product would be straight off the shelf. Bulk is a little bit of a confusing term, so I want to say that bulk doesn't mean you have to buy a lot. You can buy as much or as little as you want. Bulk just means it doesn't come pre-packaged. Now, as far as the market goes, the U.S. supermarket industry in general is highly competitive, and it operates on real low margins. And down here, you can see the growth rate for traditional stores is forecasted to be pretty stagnant, only about 3% over the upcoming years. But we've identified this segment of the market, the fresh format stores, and they're doing a lot better. Now, we've got these stores down here at 3%, and we've got some at 14%. And so what's the difference? Why are some stores doing so much better? And the reason is because they pay attention to some success factors we've identified. First, they're trying to build bigger stores. The bigger the store, the larger product selection you can offer, and the higher the cost of entry is for any competitors. Second, they're trying to differentiate themselves. They want to have a culture or something they're known for doing well, and they usually try and offer healthy, organic foods and an enjoyable shopping experience. You can think of it as the updated, modern version of a farmer's market, where it's just enjoyable and there's fresh, healthy foods. And then the third success factor is to become the low-cost leader. Stores want to sell their products cheaper than anyone else in the business. Now, the stores that are most successful, the 14% growth rate, fresh format stores, are the stores that are most likely to use bulk food dispensers. The biggest players in the industry, the most successful stores, need this product. And here's why. Think about the three success factors. The first is bigger stores. Bigger stores means that you allow space for a comprehensive bulk section. And the second is differentiation. Bulk can definitely help you differentiate. It offers fresh food, fresh, high-quality perishables, and it's an interactive shopping experience. You go, you see the product in the bin, it looks tasty, you pick out what you want, you decide how much you want, and then you put it in the bag yourself. And the third is becoming a low-cost leader. Since bulk is so much cheaper than the same product off the shelf would be, it can help you become the low-cost leader. Now, our team called lots of grocery stores and supermarkets to try and hear from people who had used bulk food dispensers. And I'd like to introduce Rachel to tell you what we learned.
Thank you, Davis. Now, in order to further identify the needs in the bulk bin industry, we called over 190 grocery stores and supermarkets across the United States. And this map shows the states where stores were contacted and includes around 25 states. Now, at first, we were aiming to gain basic product information about the bins currently in the market. However, we ended up gaining a much deeper level of insight. First of all, the customers with the bins expressed their extreme frustrations they are currently experiencing, and customers without the bins told us their fears and hesitations of introducing the bins into their stores. Many managers also further confirmed that consumer interest in bulk food products is increasing, but along with this increase comes a new level of stress for their stores. Now, when we discussed product features with the managers, there were two main issues that arose. They were spillage and theft of bulk food products. Around 53% of the managers said that spills occurring when their customers dispense the products are a major problem for their store. And part of this problem comes in when it adds extra labor and stress for the store employees, and also places the store in a potential liability situation if their customers slip and fall on the spilled products. In addition, 48% of managers said that theft of bulk food products is a major issue because their customers will dispense the goods and then begin snacking on them before weighing them. So essentially that customer gets free food, and then there is a new financial concern for that store. The bulk department manager at Nature's Oasis Natural Foods in Colorado said that these two issues are such a burden for her store and was so excited to know that there was a company out there looking to combat her frustrations. She even asked how soon we will be contacting her if we developed a new product. Another interesting call came from a Texas assistant grocery store manager who said that they have recently gotten rid of their bins because these two problems were such big issues for their store. And this store, along with a few others we spoke to, had decided that eliminating their bulk sections was the only answer. However, around 40% of managers displayed an interest in adding or remodeling these bins in their stores if this problem could be solved. So along with problems come opportunity. And now Christy will explain how Marco can innovate to meet these needs.
Thank you. Well, we've seen an extremely high growth rate in a segment of the market, and yet the current product is so inefficient that stores are actually removing bulk sections from their departments entirely. Thankfully, Marco can solve these problems with a few simple innovations. Firstly, it can combat spillage with a spill prevention mechanism that essentially attaches the bag directly to the chute. And that way, the products are dispensed directly from the chute into the bag with no extra steps or hassle on the part of customers. Not only will this alleviate safety concerns, but also it will increase the store's bottom line by reducing the amount of money lost due to spillage. In addition, an integrated weighing system will weigh the goods as soon as they're dispensed. That way, they will be labeled and priced immediately upon dispensing. This won't detract from the customer experience because the customers are still free to snack while they shop. However, when they do pay for the goods, they'll be paying for the entirety of the product dispensed. And again, this will increase the store's bottom line. The amazing thing is that Marco can add these two features and still offer the product at a lower cost than the competitor. In addition, Marco needs to develop a complete product line. This will include scoop bins, accessories, shelving, and gravity-fed bulk bins. Now, Marco has actually already started doing this, and this will ensure that it is the one-stop shop for all of the customer's bulk needs. Now that I've told you what we're going to do to the product to make it more appealing to customers, Carol is going to tell you how we're going to implement this strategy and turn it into success.
Thanks, Christy. Basically, Marco will spend 6 months to design the new product, and after this, it will create a new comprehensive business plan to transfer this innovative product into real customer choices. And this great idea will start on where Marco is doing best right now. That is the current customer basis. And after this, it will expand to new American grocery industries. And in the long term, it's a good idea for Marco to reach out and find new segments, such as China. From now on, Marco should take full advantages of the current customer clients, especially when most of them are the powerful players in US. And also, Marco can capitalize the current customers with minimum costs because this is mainly following the distribution channels and fundamental strategies which Marco has already dominated. Another main reason is this is much easier for Marco to add a new product line on the current market. And Marco has already developed a good direct sales team based on this strong customer relationship. Finally, and it's the most important, it's cheaper. Because this is the most straightforward and practical strategy for Marco with the lowest cost. It should be the most and practical one, because as you can see in the screen, it's above 1 million profit for Marco just from the first step for the first 5 years. However, roughly from the second year, Marco should start to focus on new segments in US. As Davis mentioned earlier, there is a huge potential market of book bins in US. With about 35,000 groceries in 2012, there should be and must be a huge potential market for Marco to expand further in the following years. And also, instead of following the competitors, Marco can differentiate itself with new features such as innovative designing and customized creation to outpace the competition with lowest cost and to make a new and more profit with each account. So, easier, cheaper, and straightforward. This is Marco really need at the very beginning. Also, for the first 2 steps, we focused much more on the current competitiveness for Marco. However, after the first 2 years, it should be a good idea for Marco to switch out and to look for new segments outside the US. Here, we recommend China because, firstly, Chinese customers have a tradition in buying books. And secondly, there is a huge trend for Chinese supermarket to grow into more international and large scope in the following years. Also, Chinese supermarket is growing rapidly with about 70% each year past over 5 years. So, as you can see, China could be a good idea for Marco to consider in the following years. However, to sum up quickly, to enter the market immediately, it should firstly focus on the first 2 strategies. And our presentation will also recommend Marco to consider the first 2 steps. And my partner, Min Yang, is going to introduce some marketing strategies to support this business plan.
Thanks, Carol. In order to implement the first step of our strategy, Marco's sales plan has to fully focus on capturing the current client. Marco's biggest sales method has been through word-of-mouth advertising and direct sales calls. This method has been successful in the past and will continue to be successful in the future because Marco established great relationship with current customers and they can continue to provide high-end quality products. As far as the personnel concern goes, in the first year, someone in the Marco company needs to take charge as project coordinator. Project coordinator will make sure the project is going well with all the right steps. The job includes training the sales team, coordinating with IP attorney, and making sure the new design fits the current customer's needs. In the second year, Marco needs to expand sales force. Bulk is such a great product, and the sales are growing by 14% every year. In order to meet this great demand, Marco needs bigger sales force. New staffs will going to make sure the new staffs will selling new products across the United States. With this sales structure, effective marketing will be crucial to maximize the benefit. First of all, increasing online presence by website renewal was identified as top priority. This is to attract customers, especially those of whom Marco can't easily reach by direct customer calls, and to provide them easy access to products and to raise brand awareness. Secondly, joining associations such as National Grocers Association. This is to obtain in-depth potential customer data. Lastly, participating in trade shows. This is to introduce and demonstrate the new product line to the customers.
Our three methods was especially designed to reach independent and specialty food retailers. Our sales plan and marketing plan fit perfectly with Marco's current selling cycle. This is easy to adopt at low cost while maximizing the benefit. Now, my partner, Rachel, will reveal financial projections.
Thank you, Minyoung. Now, in order to ensure that this strategy produces success and benefits for the Marco company, there are a few key financial issues to consider. As you can see in column 1, the startup cost for this product will be around $330,000. And this includes research and development costs, along with marketing and sales additions over the first 6 months from project initiation. After that, moving on to year 1, after the product enters the market, and Marco begins focusing on current client sales, they will begin to gain back on their initial investment. However, the break-even point will come in year 2 as there is 37,000 bulk bins sold. And this is key for Marco to consider because at this point, they will be beginning part 2 of their strategy, so they will have a steady base to build on. Now, these net income projections are based on a few key assumptions, and these include the number of stores that added bulk sections in recent years, a 14% increase in those types of stores, an increasing closeout rate over time, and an average need of 60 bins per store. In addition, we also considered reasonable expectations from a sales team of Marco's size. Now, the net income projection over the first 5 years after market entry is over $2 million, and this shows how this product can truly impact the Marco company. Marco will even be able to reach this goal while still staying at a lower cost to customers. The net income percentages of part 1 versus part 2 show that even though Marco initially starts with only focusing on their current clients, this will not limit the company, but essentially give them a strong foundation to build upon. And now Christy will walk us through the key milestones needed in order to execute these goals.
Thank you. So to recap, we have a growing segment of the market, an extreme need for problem-solving features, and the ability to design a next-generation product. However, what we must keep in mind is that there are key operational milestones that we must hit in order to successfully enter this market. The first is to design the next generation of gravity-fed bulk bin. Now, this will solve the customer problems and ensure that Marco actually has leverage when they're going into the market. The second will be to patent that design. Now, between our competitors' intellectual property portfolio and Marco's patent, this will create a great disincentive for any other potential competitors to enter the market. Now, that will ensure that the competitive landscape remains fairly stable over the next several years so that Marco can continue to research and provide innovative solutions to customer problems. In addition, Marco will need to trademark the brand name that it attaches to this product so that customers will know that Marco is the source of the gravity-fed bulk bin that solved all of their bulk problems and that it will continue to do so in the future. And lastly, Marco needs to sell a complete product line so that it is the one-stop shop for all of the customer's bulk needs. Now, in summary, Marco has the opportunity and the ability to become a top market leader in gravity-fed bulk bins within the next 5 years. By designing the next generation gravity-fed bulk bin that solves customer problems, this can revolutionize the way that bulk goods are bought and sold in America. And this translates directly into profits for Marco. Capitalizing on this opportunity is a crucial step in building the future of the Marco company. Thank you very much for your time, and we welcome your questions.
Hi.
Hi.
Again, fantastic, really good job, very, very impressive. Thank you. My first question is the same question or comment that I made to the first group. And I realize after hearing 2 presentations that your focus on cost is primarily the cost to, for example, Marco, and you did that well. But you know, for me, who I'm not an expert in grocery retail or in the technology, it would also be helpful for me to have a sense of generally what the cost to the buyer would be as compared to other products. So, you know, like I said, I have the same question in the first group. And I don't want to interfere with what your assignment was, and it's very possible that you weren't even asked to do that. But I just know as someone sitting in the audience and trying to get the picture, it would just help me, again, as a layperson, to understand what would this cost, you know, Whole Foods in California to do that versus what they're doing now. So that's my comment. Second is related to your one slide about China. I was also thinking about that as you were giving the presentation. I realize your focus is on the U.S. and the U.S. market, but I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts about what how the Chinese market might receive this kind of product, and then whether there would be objections in China to this kind of product, because it puts so much control in the hands of the customer versus the store.
Yes, sir. Well, Carol knows a lot more about China than any of us three, so I'm going to let her answer that question.
So your question is about why we consider China at this stage, right? And how will the customers look at this product?
Yeah, I think not why, because that's pretty clear to me. It's a great market, but you know, you mentioned that it's a future market. So I'm wondering, is it a future in 1 year, in 5 years? And then secondly, do you think there would be objections from the Chinese grocers, the Chinese retail, to using this kind of technology? I haven't seen it myself in China.
Yeah, I have done a lot of research in this area, and the existing products in China, like some sugar beans and a box, like a plastic box or some wood box, not like this gravity book beans. But we found some government like survey to say there is some like safety of food, and they cannot see the cover of the food is like very dirty for customers to taste. So it could be a requirement for the next generation of the grocery market to consider a more clear safety and sanitation device. And also the government say, because this kind of buying book can save more box and bags, or so it can, or I think it can also to make it more convenient to buy in book, just to slow down the food in the bag, and they can automatically weigh it, then go to the checkout. Thank you.
And to answer your first question, we actually do have a rough estimate of the comparison between the competitor's product that's currently offered and ours. And from what we can tell right now, ours will be about $10 cheaper, even with the added features that aren't currently available on the product.
$10 per what?
Per bin.
Per bin, okay.
Per bin, and with an average of 60 bins per store, which is what we're estimating, that translates into a huge cost savings, and they get added features.
Thanks.
Okay. A product like this, the largest end buyer will be supermarkets and grocery stores?
Yes.
Okay. So would the product be self-served by the customers or be controlled, okay, by a staff of the store?
It is self-served by customers. Essentially, the way that the process works right now is that there's a bulk section and everything is labeled, so you just go and say, okay, I would like some pecans. And you can go and actually pick out what you want and actually dispense it into a bag currently. And that's where a lot of the spilling issues come from, is customers dispensing it themselves. And that's why we're actually trying to fix these problems, is because the customers are having difficulty using the product. And so the stores that we're trying to sell to are working to make it easier and stop all of the losses that they're getting from actually selling these products to consumers.
All right, what type of products are the supermarket using for this system right now? Coffee beans, gummy bears, things like those?
Yes, sir. All of the above. My favorite are chocolate-covered coffee beans. That's what I get every time I go to one of these stores. But it's really any dry goods kind of bulk. So it ranges from rice and grains to coffee beans, candies. They'll sell granola pre-mixed from these bins, and so really anything that fits that profile that could be dispensed. There's specialty stores like candy stores that use these. You know, jelly beans. You'll see a whole row of jelly beans. So any type of product that fits that general description.
So it'll be one dispenser per product?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. So it's kind of like you walk into a Dunkin' Donut and you want to buy a bag of their coffee bean. So basically, they will be using this to dispense the coffee beans and package it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Coffee companies are a big user. So there's the supermarkets who sell to consumers, to people who walk in the store and want to buy food. But then they're also used for coffee beans in coffee shops to, you know, you hold your coffee beans in there and then the store owner can dispense them, or they can make the choice where the customer can come in and dispense it theirself. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Some stores use it where it's used by the store workers, and some stores use it where they offer it directly to the consumer.
All right. How does it get refilled? From the top?
Yes, sir. Yes, so the lid comes off the top, and that's one other thing that stores have expressed concerns about, because maintaining these bulk sections is a time-consuming process. So that's why we're focusing so much on product design. Anything we can do to make it easier, to where you're not cleaning up spills and having to watch the section to make sure people aren't stealing the food. Anything you can do to make it more low maintenance on the store, we've discovered that they would really appreciate that.
Because I used to own 37 franchise restaurants in the U.S., including Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, so I'm no stranger in the food business. How does this system get sanitized?
There's a cleaning process, and so the product comes with instructions, and basically you empty the bin and you wipe it out. It's pretty accessible from that opening at the top. So when you take the opening off, you can, you know, clean it with a rag or some type of cleaning tool, and it's pretty easy to get into it once you take the top lid off.
All right, so the mechanism of this system is pretty much just gravity. Okay, it's not, you know, electronically controlled, electronically weighted. Okay, so if I'm a consumer, I want to buy a bag, 1 pound, okay, of one particular brand of coffee bean. So how do I know? Do I have 1 pound? Okay, do I have less or do I have more?
Well, actually, that's one of the things that we're trying to fix right now. That's not available with the current products. And so we're working on developing technology for the first two problems that we mentioned, spillage and theft. But also, that's another concern that we can address in the future. We actually thought about having something that you can automatically dispense, 1 pound, and that the dispenser will stop. But right now, the focus is to alleviate the two main problems. And so right now it's just a gradual innovation process.
And also perhaps preventive customer tampering system should be put into place. Okay, for example, like IHOP. Okay, if you guys ever been to International House of Pancake? Okay, now they are not allowed to have the syrup. Okay, the syrup tray on the table now. Okay, because there is a chance for customer to actually drop something into the syrup. Okay, so if the unit is out in the open, okay, actually certain mechanism, okay, a feature has to be built in, okay, to prevent, okay, this type of event from happening.
Right. That's funny that you say that. I worked at IHOP for 2 years, so
No
I
kidding.
understand your
I used to be the
frustration.
largest IHOP franchisee on the East Coast of the U.S.
Well, fantastic. I think a lot of the thing that we're doing is the lids are actually able to lock right now, and we'll continue that process. Right now, customer tampering with the bins before the goods are dispensed hasn't been too much of an issue. And so really the main focus, unless that's identified as a problem in the future, is going to be on reducing the losses from customer spills and theft.
Beautiful. Good.
Okay, so First of all, great presentation, good work.
Thank you.
You met the expectations, that was great. Then I have three questions. Well, the website idea I really liked. This is something we don't have right now. We don't have any online presence, so I think it's a good idea. Just so as going to the NGA, I think that would be helpful for the company for sure. Now, when you talk about the anti-theft and anti-spilling devices, I was wondering, and maybe you can precise that, what new capabilities we would need to actually achieve that kind of new equipment. You know, we work mostly with wood, metal, and plastic. So what do you think about it? What do we need to bring on in the company to be able to do that?
Well, firstly, with the anti-theft mechanism, the scale, we will have to import the scale at least initially. If this product proves to just be even more expansive than we can possibly imagine now, then we would recommend that Marco actually have the technological know-how in-house to manufacture the scales. But right now, on this scale, pardon my using that word twice, we don't actually need that yet. As far as the attached bagging mechanism, a lot of this can be done with, as far as we can tell, with plastic and the materials that Marco currently has capabilities in. All we'll need to do is actually import the bags, deciding which bags will work best with that mechanism. So that should actually be fairly straightforward, at least initially.
Very well. Do you want to add anything, Davis, or?
No, sir.
No, you're fine, all right.
Yeah.
Then also, sorry, regarding the financials, I was wondering what kind of market share you base your projections on?
After 5 years, we're looking at 60 to 70% market share from these projections.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And finally, my final question, I'll let you go. About the patenting and trademarking the innovation, how do you have any idea of the cost that would represent for the company?
Well, we do have some idea. The patent until patent pending will cost about $10,000 US, and until the patent is actually granted from then will be around $7,000. That's just a very rough estimate. So about $17,000 US for 20 years of patent protection. And then as far as the trademark is concerned, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, that could be around $2,500 US for the entirety of the trademark process. And that trademark will last as long as there is brand recognition for it. So there's no time limit. So those are actually fairly inexpensive ways to ensure that you maintain the competitive advantage gained by actually solving these problems and making these new innovations on the product.
Okay, very well. Thank you. Great job again.
Thank you.
Other questions?
I have a couple questions for you. Number one, I'm not clear on the assumption that you can solve these problems with your product development. Do you have a solution in mind that would solve the two major problems, and that you just need to deploy that solution, or do you need to start a new product development effort?
Well, currently we're working with the design team, and we've been communicating with them throughout this project, basically asking, can we solve this problem by attaching a scale? Would that be possible? How do you think that you would be able to do it? How much would it cost? And we've received very positive answers from the company so far. So as far as they're concerned, they have the capabilities to attach a scale to the bin so that the goods are weighed as they're dispensed. And in addition, there are several ideas as far as design is concerned that are floating around about the attached bagging mechanism. And without getting into the specifics, they have the confidence that they can actually implement those as well, because they're fairly simple as far as the technology is concerned. So that's the reason that we have the confidence that we can solve these problems.
Okay. Another question for you is, I think I forgot. No, I'm drawing a blank, I'm sorry. On the trademark, does Marco have any other product lines that are trademarked, and has that helped them to kind of get an edge on the competition or to generate higher margins than other products?
Actually, they don't yet. However, currently the only product available in the market is trademarked. And so we need to make sure that we differentiate ourselves. And I mean, as an intellectual property law specialist, I would highly recommend it because that is the way that you differentiate your product in commerce so that consumers know where your product came from. And it's a recommendation that I would give for almost anyone coming up with a new product line.
So great job, Marco team. I thought you guys were very articulate. You clearly know the company quite well based on your responses to the questions so far. I was especially impressed with Davis.
Thank you.
Can't believe you're actually a mechanical engineering major. I think you need to change your major to
Thank you.
marketing.
That is
You
a
have
high
a
compliment.
very good stage presence. I think one thing that would be helpful, again, I'm primarily an investor, so I can give you more perspective when you're presenting to potential investors. The most important piece of information an investor needs to see is really what's the size of the addressable market that you're trying to address. And I didn't really get a sense of that in the presentation. It would be helpful to see exactly what is the size of the bulk dispenser market in terms of revenue, in terms of profit potential. I know what Marco's potential is. Also, the other feedback I have is 60-70% market share by year 5, and if you're only generating 1.9 million of profitability, that doesn't tell me that it's a really big market. So just something to think about there. To Frank's point, I think there does need to be a better job on the cost comparison between what you're going to build. I know it's a little hard since you haven't really built the product yet, but what's the replacement cost of what's out there? And then to David's point, I also think that as a consumer, I'm not really big on bulk purchasing, bulk dispenser purchasing, because I have concerns about hygiene as well. And it may be helpful in the beginning to talk a little bit more about consumer behavior as far as what trends are going on in that area. Is it really taking off? I'm not really sure if it is. And then just the last question to you is, what are the barriers to entry in terms of what you're trying to build right now? The existing providers of the bulk dispensers now can easily think about the same idea and come up with their own resources to maybe develop a new product. What do you think the barriers to entry are for Marco?
Well, currently, the barrier to entry for us is the design. We need to design this product so it actually solves the problems. And then in turn, once that happens, we can create a barrier to entry for the competitor, because upon patenting our design, we are the only ones that get to make it. And so when we have all these problem-solving features, that's how we're going to differentiate ourselves. Does that answer your question?
Sort of, but
okay.
You did the best you can. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And I would also add that one advantage we have is Marco is a big enough company that they can make a better product at a cheaper price because they're just more robust. And so, that's one competitive advantage we have that will prevent most companies who are interested in this from competing.
All right, let's say as a retailer, what's the advantage, for me, to use such a system, to implement such a system in my store?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, the echo.
If I'm a retailer, what's the plus? What's the saving? What's the advantage for me to implement, to buy such a system and put it inside of my store?
Well, currently the research that we've done actually shows vast losses from spillage and theft from customers just grazing as they walk through the store. And so really the product features that we're designing are actually aimed to reduce their losses from those. So not only is it going to be easier for customers to use as far as, I don't want to go up and use a dispenser if I know that I'm going to spill things all over the floor. And so it appeals to customers a little bit more, but I think the main point that we're trying to hit here is actually increasing the bottom line by reducing the losses from spilling and grazing.
I think also to add on to that, if their customers are really interested in bulk food sales and they provide this option for them, that customer will continue going back to that store and just kind of realize that this is where they want to go for their shopping. And in America, it is definitely a growing trend, especially because of the organic and natural emphasis that we're placing on things. So if their customers are more interested and they provide that product for them, that increases those sales and also increases them buying other products in their store.
See, you said you used to work for IHOP in the past, right? So you should know portioning is extremely important, okay, in the food operation, okay, because there's cost involved, okay. So actually, I see the market should be more towards, okay, for the store to do the portioning, to do the packaging, okay, and sell them instead of leave it out in the open for the customer, okay, to play around with it. Okay, you got kids running around in the store. I mean, it just I just don't think it's such a great idea. Okay, for this to be a self-serve, okay, feature. Okay, should be actually for the store owner to do, let's say a Dunkin' Donut owner, okay, to bag their coffee beans, okay, and etc. and sell them. So you get to control the portion.
Yes, I see your point, absolutely. The current trend in the American markets is actually for customers to dispense it themselves simply because they can control their own portions. For example, if I only need, 1/8 of a pound of pistachios to make a meal, I can actually get that myself. And so it's basically really just on what current trends are in the market, not necessarily what we think that they should be. Davis, you have something to add?
Well, I agree, that's a great idea. And then the current market trend in America is towards this self-service, fresh format, farmers market kind of feel, and the stores that are growing the fastest are taking advantage of that. So there's many things that contribute to that. It's organic, it's self-service, and so that's something that customers love. And so that's an idea that makes us think this will really work.
This isn't so much a question, but it's just a comment for the benefit partially of the judges and the audience. There have been several questions about product design features, and frankly, this team is following instructions from their intellectual property consultant. They are limited in what they can say about the current design efforts, et cetera, and so they've been in a little bit of a difficult position. I just wanted to clarify that they are in fact limited about what they can say at this point about the stage of product development and the concepts.
I have a question to go along with kind of where we were going with the bulk food. Did you, in your analysis, see any data on sell-through or margins coming from this section of the store? Does the store make more money on a bulk food section than a typical shelf of product?
Yes, sir. Definitely, because the price of bulk food is lower both to the store, and then they can transfer that on to the customer. The price of packaging is something that stores pay for when they buy a traditional packaged product.
Did you get an answer, David?
Wasn't very clear, but I mean, so for instance, if I'm a retailer, let's say I'm a Safeway or some kind of grocery store, is it more beneficial for me to sell Gatorade or to sell pre-mixed oatmeal in a bulk food section?
I see. So as opposed to other products, do you pursue a bulk food section? Yes, sir. And that is definitely profitable. That comes back to the store layout idea and the idea of getting, a broader product selection. And that's what stores are doing. You're familiar with Home Depot in America. And so you would go to your local hardware store and you would, tell the guy what you need and he'd go to the back and get it for you. And then Home Depot came along and they kind of changed the game where now you've got a one-stop shop. You go and it's a huge store with every home improvement, tool or material you would ever need. And so that's kind of the same direction that grocery stores in America are going. Even grocery stores like Safeway and traditional grocery stores, they're trying to get bigger and offer more products and diverse products. And so that's one reason why stores, they want to go ahead and they want to add a bulk section in addition to their regular products. Does that answer a little bit better?
No, you still, get down to the basics. Is this a loss leader for them, or do they make more money by having a bulk food section than by selling another aisle of Gatorade?
Yes, sir. They make more, well, we haven't researched it compared to other products, but stores are going to sell these products. They're going to sell oatmeal and they're going to sell nuts. And so we think this is the best way to do that. Now so they need a way to sell these products, and we think this is the best way to do it.
And in addition, just to add to what Davis has mentioned, during the customer calls, many of the stores that didn't have bulk bins identified customer demand as the main driver, and they actually said that if the customers want this product, they will get it. And so that kind of just exemplifies the fact that they will sell it if the customers want it. And articles that we have read indicate that customers are growing towards their preference for more organic and environmentally friendly packaging. And so this solves that problem, and we're just seeing increasing trends in customer demand for bulk foods.
So hopefully that got to the core of what you're asking. I hope so.
Yeah, so it's essentially a customer demand that's driving, and it's not the store trying to increase margin.
Yes, sir. Which we think it does both, but you're right. That's the driver.
I have one final question, I promise. You guys made a very bold claim of 70% market share, 60 to 70% market share. No other team here today is going to claim that they can achieve that. So I wondered if you could defend that, how you're going to get there, why that's even possible.
All right. So first we took the number of stores that have added the bins in recent years, and we considered that Marco's current client base would consist of about 50% of those stores, just because we researched their top customers and identified that they are trying to move towards this more fresh format type of store. And then also from this, we applied a closeout rate. Obviously, a larger closeout rate for their current clients and a smaller one for the other market. So with that, that's how we are able to determine that they will reach approximately 60 to 7% market share.
All right, thank you guys.
Beautiful. Good job. Well done.